A shocking compilation of officiating decisions against Caitlin Clark has ignited a controversy that's shaking the very foundation of the league.
Screening action down low. Clark has to get open. 1 second left. Clark doesn't get the shot off. Collapse.
Frame-by-frame footage reveals what many fans and analysts have long suspected, a pattern of biased officiating targeting Clark, the Indiana Fever's sophomore sensation. And here's where it gets even crazier. The fallout from this scandal has WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert scrambling, with whispers that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is fed up and ready to take drastic action. Could Engelbert's mishandling of this crisis cost her job? Stick around, because this story is a wild ride, and the truth will leave you speechless.
Clark gets it. She's got time. Cloud defending. Clark trying to create some airspace. Long three at the horn. Oh! Caitlin Clark rising from the ashes here in the third quarter.
Let's set the scene. The Indiana Fever faced off against the Atlanta Dream in a nail-biting 91-90 loss. On paper, it was a thrilling game, showcasing the talents of Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell, who combined for a monster performance. Clark herself dropped 27 points, 11 assists, and 5 rebounds, tying Courtney Vandersloot's record for the most 20-point, 10-assist games in WNBA history. And here's the kicker. Clark did it in just 42 games compared to Vandersloot's 400-plus. She also became the fourth fastest player to reach 800 career points. This is the kind of performance that should have fans buzzing and analysts raving. But that's just the beginning. Instead of celebrating Clark's historic night, the basketball world is erupting over a meticulously compiled video breakdown that exposes something far more troubling. A systematic pattern of officiating that seems designed to hold Clark back. The footage, circulating rapidly across social media, shows missed calls, phantom fouls, and blatant no calls targeting Clark throughout the game. This isn't just a case of bad refs or a few missed whistles. The evidence is clinical, methodical, and impossible to ignore. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the WNBA's response, or lack thereof, has only poured fuel on the fire.
One of the things that's going on social media right now, as we speak, is the WNBA referees are getting destroyed. And I mean, they are getting crushed online. Honestly, they're getting crushed during every single game. I've seen a lot of people come out and say, the WNBA referees, is this what it's about? Because they're the worst referees in the history of any referees.
And here's where things take a shocking turn. The defensive end is just as bad. Clark was called for ticky-tack fouls while playing textbook defense. In one instance, she's standing completely still, arms vertical, in perfect defensive position. The Dream player initiates contact, yet Clark gets whistled. Basketball 101 says the vertical defender has established position, but somehow the call goes against her. Same action, same contact, completely different standard. This is where it gets really interesting. Random bad officiating would affect both teams equally, right? But this doesn't look random. It looks targeted. The pattern is so clear that even casual fans, analysts, and celebrities notice something was off. When a golfer starts calling out basketball refs, you know you've got a serious problem on your hands. And that's just scratching the surface. The WNBA's silence in the face of this growing scandal is deafening. No statements addressing the officiating concerns, no promises to review the game, not even the standard "we're looking into it" that leagues typically offer when controversy erupts. Just silence. And in crisis management, silence is usually the worst possible approach. Meanwhile, the compilation is going viral, picking up traction not just among hardcore basketball fans, but in mainstream sports media. The narrative is forming, and it's not flattering. The WNBA is uncomfortable with Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise and is using officiating to limit her impact. But here's what they're not telling you. This isn't just about one game or one player. The WNBA is at a crossroads. Clark has brought unprecedented attention to the league, selling out arenas, boosting TV ratings, and attracting new sponsors. Viewership for the Fever's games is hovering around 2 million, compared to maybe 400,000 without Clark's fan base. That's 70% of the league's current audience tied to one player. And yet, instead of embracing this golden opportunity, the league seems to be fighting it. The theories range from the benign to the conspiratorial, and they're worth unpacking. One theory is that this is just an old-school basketball mentality. Make the young star earn her stripes before she gets veteran calls. That might have made sense in Clark's rookie season, but she's well into her sophomore year now, shattering records left and right. The paying dues period should be long over. Others point to a more troubling possibility, a deliberate effort within the WNBA ecosystem to manage Clark's impact through officiating. This sounds far-fetched until you consider some of the league's actions over the past year. There's an uncomfortable undercurrent in how the WNBA handles Clark's popularity, almost as if some within the league resent one player becoming bigger than the collective. And here's where it gets even crazier. A hot mic moment from a WNBA broadcast partner revealed analysts being given talking points about how to discuss Clark, with instructions to balance her coverage. This wasn't speculation. It happened on air. If the league is micromanaging how broadcasters talk about Clark, is it really a stretch to think they might influence how she's officiated? The compilation suggests this management extends beyond media narratives and into the game itself, raising serious questions about the league's integrity. At the heart of this mess is WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, whose leadership, or lack thereof, is drawing intense scrutiny. Sources say NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is watching this train wreck unfold and growing increasingly frustrated. The WNBA operates under the NBA's umbrella, and Silver has a vested interest in its success. He's built his reputation on measured responses and protecting the NBA's growth, navigating controversies without alienating fans. Engelbert, on the other hand, seems to be fumbling the WNBA's biggest opportunity in decades.
You know what's funny about the commissioner of the WNBA? She successfully pisses off everybody. Regardless of which side you're on, it seems like she's either getting called a racist, but at the same time trying to prop up players that clearly are not in the same marketable lane.
And you'll never guess how it ends. Engelbert's handling of a separate controversy, a baseless investigation into alleged racist comments by Indiana Fever fans, has only added fuel to the fire. The claims, which allege fans made monkey noises at Angel Reese during a game against the Chicago Sky, were based on unverified social media posts with no video or audio evidence. The accuser's account is now locked, and the supposed monkey noises were traced back to a YouTuber's laugh track. Even the Sky's coach, who previously worked for Indiana, said he heard nothing inappropriate. Yet the WNBA launched a full investigation with no timeline for completion, allowing a cloud of suspicion to hang over Indiana's fan base. This selective outrage is baffling. While Engelbert rushes to investigate fake racism claims, actual threats against players like Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull, including posts with bullseye targets drawn on them, are being ignored.
Well, there's a couple angles. One is the economic model that drives valuation, so your revenue and our media rights deal and our corporate partnership revenue, and obviously fandom in arena and on digital and social platforms. And then there's the player storytelling, which is more the marketing angle, where we've hired a lot of expertise around that in-house at the WNBA to drive storytelling, short form, medium form content, in addition to obviously our games.
From a business perspective, Engelbert's approach is organizational malpractice. The WNBA has struggled for decades to achieve financial sustainability, surviving largely on NBA subsidies. Clark's arrival has changed that, bringing new fans, media deals, and merchandise sales. League-wide viewership, social media engagement, and ticket sales are up, not just for Fever games, but across the board. Clark's popularity is as a rising tide lifting all boats, exposing stars like A'ja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu to new audiences. So why is the league seemingly at war with its biggest asset? The Fever Dream game should have been a showcase of exciting basketball. Instead, as one analyst noted, it was brutal to watch because of inconsistent whistles. Constant foul calls slowed the game to a crawl, undermining the athleticism and skill fans tune in to see. When those calls are applied unequally, hammering Clark with no calls on offense and ticky-tack fouls on defense, it creates a negative impression for new fans. The game is rigged, and in rigged is not the takeaway any league wants, especially one trying to convert casual viewers into lifelong supporters.
The other thing they're trying to speak into existence is 6 or 7 players averaging double figures. They believe it.
Backdoor.
And here's where things go completely off the rails. The WNBA's investigation into Fever fans risks alienating the very demographic driving its growth. These are the fans buying tickets, jerseys, and subscriptions, transforming the league from a financial black hole into something approaching relevance. Yet Engelbert's response is to treat them like suspects in a hate crime investigation based on a hoax. There's even talk of pulling the All-Star game from Indianapolis as punishment for something that never happened. Imagine that conversation. Hey, Adam, we're moving the All-Star game because of a tweet that turned out to be fake. That's a career-ending decision, the kind that gets you a pink slip in a cardboard box for your desk. What makes this situation even more glaring is Clark's professionalism. Despite the physicality, the missed calls, and the league's apparent reluctance to embrace her, she never complains. She doesn't argue with refs, throw tantrums, or make excuses in press conferences. She just plays at an elite level, letting her game speak for itself. Her teammates, like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, have started speaking out about the unfair treatment, but Clark remains composed, a stark contrast to the league's chaotic response. This composure only amplifies the injustice. When a player of Clark's caliber is breaking records while getting hammered without whistles, it's not just unfair, it's dangerous. The lack of calls encourages defenders to get more physical, knowing they can get away with it. The last thing the WNBA needs is its biggest star sidelined by an injury caused by excessive contact. And by the end of this, you'll understand why this is so important.
The New York Liberty hands the Indiana Fever their second loss of the season, with many fans blaming the referees for their horrible officiating at the end of the game.
The controversy doesn't stop with officiating. Social media has become a battleground, with Clark's fans clashing against a vocal minority trying to gatekeep the WNBA. The monkey noises hoax is just the latest example. Before that, every hard foul or questionable call was spun into a narrative of victimhood for other players, with Clark's fans painted as the enemy. LeBron James, of all people, got dragged into the mess when he posted a simple tweet congratulating Clark on her triple-double. The backlash was swift and absurd, with fans accusing him of pandering to white people or ignoring black athletes. This is LeBron James, a man who spent years as one of the most outspoken athletes on social justice issues, now being called not black enough for praising a basketball performance. The irony is thicker than a brick wall. This toxic environment is one Engelbert has allowed to fester. By validating baseless accusations and ignoring real threats, she's created a league where congratulating a player's achievement becomes a racial betrayal. It's a circus, and she's the ringmaster, or at least she's failing to control it. The WNBA has 3 options. First, they could acknowledge the officiating inconsistencies, promise to review the footage, and commit to fairer calls. This is the straightforward approach, but it requires admitting a problem exists, something Engelbert has avoided. Second, they could ignore the issue and hope it blows over. This is their current strategy, but it's becoming less viable as the compilation gains traction. Third, they could double down and claim the footage is misleading, a risky move given its clarity.
Will they call it a transition take foul? They will, and now Clark gets a T in addition. That is an unbelievably costly sequence.
Whatever they choose, the damage is done. The narrative is out there. The WNBA is holding back its biggest star. Fans aren't stupid. They see Clark getting hammered without calls, while others get free throws for minimal contact. The compilation puts it all in one undeniable package. And here's the most important part. This isn't just about Clark. It's about the future of the WNBA. Will they embrace the growth she's bringing, or squander it by alienating new fans? Caitlin Clark's recent left quad strain, sidelining her for at least 2 weeks, has significantly impacted WNBA ticket price and arena attendance, underscoring her immense draw as a superstar. Clark, the Indiana Fever's star guard and the 2024 #1 draft pick, has been a catalyst for the league's record-breaking attendance and viewership, contributing an estimated 26.5% of the WNBA's 2024 revenue. Her absence has led to a sharp decline in ticket prices and fan interest, particularly for Fever games, highlighting her singular influence on the league's economic landscape. Ticket prices for Fever games have plummeted since Clark's injury was announced on May 25, 2025. For instance, the average ticket price for the 4 games she is expected to miss dropped from $137 to $80, a 41% decrease. The June 7th Fever Sky matchup, anticipated as a high-profile rivalry game featuring Clark and Angel Reese, saw get-in prices fall 71% from $86 to $25 after the injury news. This game, moved to the 21,000-seat United Center to accommodate Clark-driven demand, now faces reduced excitement. Similarly, the Fever's game against the Washington Mystics saw get-in prices drop from $41 to $14 after the venue was shifted to the larger CFG Bank Arena. Home games against the Connecticut Sun and Mystics also reflect lower demand, with get-in prices at $13 and $11 respectively. Clark's absence challenges teams' ability to fill arenas, as her games consistently drew sellout crowds or set attendance records. In 2024, the Fever's home attendance averaged 17,036 fans per game, surpassing the NBA's Indiana Pacers, and road games like the September 19, 2024 matchup against the Mystics drew a record 20,711 fans. Without Clark, teams may struggle to replicate these figures, particularly in larger venues relocated to capitalize on her popularity. At the start of the 2025 season, the WNBA was projected to generate significant revenue, potentially exceeding $200 million annually, driven by Clark's impact in a new $2.2 billion media rights deal. However, with Clark out, the league faces losses estimated at $40 million to $50 million for the year, worsened by her absence during this period. Clark's unique draw means her injury could cost the league millions in ticket revenue alone. Adam Silver is watching, and you have to wonder what he's thinking. The NBA has navigated its own controversies, but Silver has always prioritized growth and fan engagement. Engelbert's leadership, by contrast, seems to prioritize social media mobs over sustainable development. The WNBA is finally approaching financial independence, but every investigation into fake racism, every moment spent chasing Twitter ghosts risks driving away the fans who made that possible. If Engelbert keeps choosing mob justice over money, Silver may have no choice but to step in. The clock is ticking. Engelbert needs to decide if she wants to be remembered as the commissioner who made the WNBA profitable or the one who killed its best chance at relevance. Right now, she's sprinting toward the latter. The conversation with Silver is coming, and it might start with, "Cathy, we need to talk about the league's direction," and end with, "It's time for new leadership." Because if she keeps investigating fairy tales while Rome burns, that conversation isn't just likely, it's inevitable.
And I was in my first collective bargaining meeting in the last round, and we have come a long way. But we all said we're going to invest, the owners are going to invest, and we're actually going to build an economic model to be able to set this league up for decades and to set these players up for generations. And we have so many great rookie classes to come. Even if you look at the U17 players, they're amazing. So we want to set this model up to be sustainable. We did give charter for the entire season and playoffs last year. That'll continue. That is, obviously is on the list, as well as higher player pay. And now we have a media rights deal that will help us really
the big NBC deal, right? You're part of that.
Return a lot of that to the players.
This scandal isn't just about bad calls or fake racism claims. It's about a league at war with itself, unable to embrace its greatest opportunity. Clark's success doesn't diminish other players. It elevates them. Her fans aren't taking anything away from the WNBA. They're adding value to the entire ecosystem. The WNBA deserves better. The players deserve better. The fans, all of them, deserve better. And if Engelbert can't deliver, maybe it's time for someone who can. Hit that like button if you think the WNBA needs new leadership, and comment "fair whistles" if you want consistent officiating. This story is far from over, and the next chapter could change everything. Stay tuned because the truth is just getting started. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. Stay tuned.